Greetings, Earth enthusiasts. If you ever wondered about the incredible perspectives our planet has to offer from high above, you're in the right place. I am Dr. Clive Coetzee, and I'm thrilled to be your guide on this captivating journey into the world of remote sensing. Welcome. And please remember to like, subscribe to, and share this video. Thank you. The use of Sentinel images have become very, very popular since we started getting those images. I think Sentinel-2 images became available from about 2015 onwards. Up to that point, we predominantly worked with Landsat images, specifically when we start looking at daytime imagery. Okay, so Landsat, as I said in one of two of my other video tutorials, is very popular in that it has a long history. It dates back from the middle 70s, so it's got a long history of images, gives you a nice time series analysis of your region of interest. Sentinel images is fairly new, and I think, as I said, only from 2015 onwards. In some regions, only from about 2017, 2018 onwards. So it's much more narrow, it's much more shorter in its time period. However, the benefit of Sentinel is resolution. It's got a much better resolution than Landsat. So it's a bit of each. You know, what do you prefer? Better resolution, you go for Sentinel. When you want long term, then you go for Landsat. Okay, so anyway, what we're going to do with the next couple of video tutorials, we're going to stand still on Sentinel and work a little bit on Sentinel images and see, you know, what can we do? What can we learn from the Sentinel images? And that will be our exploration journey, our journey into remote sensing for the next couple of video tutorials is Sentinel, focusing on Sentinel images. Now, there's a number of methods or number of sources where we can actually access our Sentinel images. Okay, so we're going to look at predominantly two, but there are obviously more sources or more places where you can go and generate and download your Sentinel images. But I said we're going to focus predominantly on two. I'm going to show you a third option just for you to take note of it. But yeah, we're going to look at Sentinel. Okay, so that will be, as I said, our journey going forward. And thanks for joining me on this journey. And please remember to like and subscribe, share the videos, etc., etc. Okay, so let's get going. So if we go into our Sentinel Hub, that's the location or the primary source of Sentinel images and Sentinel data. Remember, it's a European system, so you can go and find it at sentinelhub.explore.eo browser. Okay, there is the website details. Okay, so you simply type in that address and you'll get to this Sentinel Hub. Now, the first thing that you have to remember is to sign in. Okay, so you won't be able to download or explore the data sets or the images if you're not a signed in member, if you haven't registered. Okay, it's free, so it's not going to ask you for banking details and all that stuff. So it's very straightforward. You just click on it, go there. It will give you a little registration form. I'm already signed in, so it's not giving me that option. But anyway, if you click on sign in, it's going to ask you to register, username, password. Then it will send you an email to your email account. Then you verify it, and voila, you are registered. Then you go back to the Sentinel Hub. It should say you are signed in, like what I am. I'm signed in. Okay, and then basically you can go through this, explore the hub itself, the Earth Observation Hub. You can look at the color schemes. Gives you basically a couple of tutorials on what you can do in the site itself. Okay, so go through that. You'll see there is all sorts of nice information, how you can work with it, etc., etc. But right at the bottom, at the bottom it says open EO in browser. Okay, open it in your browser. Okay, there's some other things you can look at, but this is where you want to get. You want to get to the browser. Okay, so you click on the browser. Okay, so if you are registered, okay, if you are signed in, you'll get this page here. And this basically just means you are signed in, you've got your settings, your logon, you now sorted. And if you want to play around with it, there's not much. I mean, you can go and upgrade if you want to pay and all these sort of things. So I'm not going to go for that. Okay, so you sign in, you register for the Sentinel Hub, you register. It will give you to this point. It says you are a member now, you have account details, etc., etc. Okay, now you need this if you want to download images from the hub itself. Okay, once you've done with this, you can simply just go into the browser itself. Okay, you can go to the browser itself. Okay, and I said, how do you do that? You go to right at the bottom of the page. Once you signed in, you go to right at the bottom of the page and it says Open EO Browser. That is what you're looking for. And you click on that and that will open a new tab. And the tab will look something like this. Okay, it will say hello and please make sure that you logged in, you signed in. Otherwise, I said, if you're not signed in, you're not going to be able to access the information. You'll access it, but if you want to download it, for example, it will not say, sorry, you cannot download the information since you are not signed in, you're not subscribed, you're not registered. As I said, it is free, so it doesn't cost you money, so make the effort. Okay. So you'll get to something that looks like this. Okay. Now, the first thing that I normally do is I make this map smaller by just scroll on your mouse wheel, just go backwards and that makes it smaller, or you can simply just press the plus or minus sign on your right hand side and that makes it smaller and you go to your region of interest. Okay, roughly go to your region of interest. Now, at this stage, you cannot import your region of interest here, so you have to manually draw your region of interest. You have to manually create your region of interest. Okay, so all these other things you leave the same. You can go through that. Okay, so make sure that it is small enough or at the right place so you can draw your region of interest. So remember, this is roughly my region of interest. Okay, you have to have a rough idea where your region of interest lies. Okay, because it's going to clip it around your region of interest. Okay, when you export it, it's going to clip it. So if you have your region of interest too narrow or too small or to left or to right or whatever, you're not going to get a proper download of the image because it's going to clip it and it doesn't fit. You have to redo everything. So how do you create your region of interest? Okay. Okay, so here it says upload a file or create a region of interest. Okay, so we can upload a file there, or you can just simply draw a rectangle or you draw a with your free hand. Okay, so I'm just going to draw with my free hand and you just left click. Okay, you basically just left click. And again, I'm making it as wide as possible so that I am confident that my region of interest are captured. So my region of interest is located within this. Okay, so remember I use that button there, that pencil, or you can use that button there. Okay, or as I said, there was this option to upload it. I haven't done that per se because that seems to be a new one, but you can physically upload it, your region of interest. Play around, see what is the best option. But remember, go to that little sign. It's just below the information sign, that little sign there, and use these tools to actually draw your region of interest. So there's my region of interest. So that's it. That's your first thing that you have to do. Draw your region of interest. Make sure it captures your area that you're interested in, etc. Okay, so now the next step is to go and look at your data sources. Now again, you can see here, there is Sentinel-1, Sentinel-2, Sentinel-3, Sentinel-5P, and then you have your Landsat images. Okay, and then you have your harmonized Landsat, Sentinel images, you have MODIS, DEM, Copernicus, Probe, GS, etc., etc. Go and play around with it. You'll be quite amazed what you will find there. Okay, so go look at commercial data, highlights, play around with it. For now, what we're interested, we're going to work with Sentinel, specifically Sentinel 2 images. Okay, so that's ticked. That's what I want to work with. Okay, and if you go to advanced search, if you open advanced search, I'm going to bring my cloud level to below 10%, to 10% and less. So that's important. Otherwise, you're going to have images with a whole lot of clouds, which absolutely means nothing to you. Okay, so once you've selected your satellite or your remote sensor, in our case Sentinel, specifically Sentinel 2A, which is atmospherically corrected, then make sure that your cloud coverage. Next thing that we can, okay, so first point, after you registered, you get to this site, okay, now you're ready, you draw your region of interest, point one. Point two, go and select your data source. In our case, Sentinel 2, and make sure your cloud cover. Now the next thing is to go and put your range. Okay, don't worry about filter by months. You don't have to stress about that. We're now going to filter by range. I'm going to look at the month of February. And again, you are welcome to use any range. I'm just for the sake of it going to look at the month of February. So I'm looking at it from the 1st of February till the 29th of February. Okay, and that's basically that, boys and girls. Now we can go press search. Give it some time, and on this left hand panel it will give you all the images that is now for my region, that basically is for my region of interest and for my dated period at the 10% or less cloud cover. You'll see the sign here, 0 cloud cover. You can see those signs there. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Now it's a matter of finding an image that fits, that covers my entire region of interest. You'll see some of these images only covers portions of my region of interest. Okay, so for example, if I click on this, visualize. Okay, so I click on this, visualize. You'll see it only covers a portion of my region of interest. It doesn't cover my whole region of interest. So, you know, that's not what you want. You want your whole region of interest. So you go back to discovery. Okay, you go back to discovery. And now you scroll down. You scroll down. You'll see there's some cloud cover. I'm not interested in cloud cover. You'll see there's 5.4% cloud cover. I'm not interested in there. Ah, here we go. You see, there's one, and this is trial and error. I've done it before, so this is nothing wow about it. I just went through them all and checked, and I found this particular image, which covers my whole entire region of interest, and it's got 0% cloud cover. Okay, so let's click on that one there, and you see it's got 0% cloud cover, and it covers my entire region of interest. If I zoom out a little bit, you'll see it covers my entire region of interest. It covers a huge area. You can see that it covers a massive area, and included obviously is my region of interest. Okay, now you can see here I can now present this image either in true color, okay, which is by default, or if I click on false color, it will give me a false color image of my region of interest for that particular period, which is the 19th of February 2024. Just take a bit of time to load. It will get there, and it starts. But anyway, it gives you a false color, which is band 843. You can see that. Remember, in the false color, vegetation and these things are water, vegetations and stuff are red. So that's why this is all red. We can go highlight, optimize natural color. We can go there. Okay, if you click down there, it will give you what it is, what does it imply, and if you want more information. Okay, so that's what we call a highlight optimized natural color. Then we go to the NDV, NDVI, normalized different vegetation. It gives you the formula to calculate that. False color urban. It's just loading, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth. You can see there's a whole lot of classifications that it gives you. Okay, indices that it gives you. There's a shortwave infrared. That looks like that. And remember, every time, all of these different band combinations, that's what they basically are. They are different band combinations. And that's to highlight certain features. Okay, so you use the different bands to highlight different features, because all features either absorbed the colors or reflect the colors. Okay, so um, let's say there's 100 coming in, you absorb 50, then you reflect another 50. So that's the reflection that is captured, because that gives you idea of how much of the colors have been absorbed, and that gives you a profile, which is called a spectral bands. Okay, spectral radiance, spectral signature of a specific object. Okay, so each object within my region of interest has a spectral signature, and that spectral signature indicates the value of the reflectance, and that's how you can identify the object. If you know the spectral signature of an object, you can identify that object by focusing on the spectral signature. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. But anyway, okay, so there's a whole lot of things you can do here. You can run for them, play around with it, etc., etc. There's a time span. You can change this time span, and you can go back to the images itself. If you're not happy with that image, let's say we're interested in that image, but you'll see that image also just covers a portion of my region of interest. It doesn't cover my region of interest as a whole. So I can play around with it. There's another one. There's a Sentinel image of the 27th. Let's see if that one covers it. My region of interest also doesn't cover. Okay. So if it doesn't cover if you don't find any images that covers your region of interest, then basically just expand your time frame. Expand your time frame. You will find one that covers the whole place, your whole region of interest. So ours are on the 19th. Let's just find it again. And you'll see there's a couple of them on the 19th. Where's the 19th now again? There we go. There's the 19th. Okay. So I'm happy with the image. It's within my time period, time frame. It covers my whole area. Voila, I'm happy. Now I need to go and download it. Okay, so there's some other things you can do that you can play around, upload a file to create a line. You can put some pointers there. You can do some measurements there. And here we go with a download image. Okay, so this is the next step. Okay, so you go to the website, you register, you go to the browser. Once you've opened the browser, you create your region of interest. Once you've created your region of interest, you select your data set or your satellite. Once you've done that and you've made sure that your um, cloud cover level has been selected, then you um, generate your time period. For what period are you looking for in your images? And once you have that, you play around with it, you're happy with it, you're all shanana, happy to go. Next step is obviously you want to download the image. Okay, remember, you have to be registered, signed in to download the image. Up to this point, everything is for free. You don't have to be registered, you don't have to sign in. All of this you can do just as is. However, as soon as you want to use this button, as soon as you want to press this button, then you have to be signed in. Okay, so I'm going to sign in. Okay, now when you sign in, you'll see there are three different things here on top, three different options. Okay, I'm not going to look at basics. I'm going to look at, and also not going to look at high resolution print, because it only gives you picture images options. You looked at basic, again, it's only JPEG or PNG. High resolution also JPEG or PNG. We're not interested in it. We want a TIFF file, which is got the data. Okay, so I'm going to go to analytical. And you'll see here, I'm going to go to a TIFF file, and specifically 16-bit. Now you can go to a 32-bit float. You can look at a 16-bit. You can look at an 8-bit. That's totally up to you. But remember, many cases they want a float. They want a float. But anyway, let's for example go to the TIFF 32-bit float. Okay, so I select my 32-bit float. I leave my resolutions at medium. However, let's go high. We can do that as well. Let's go high. You can change your coordinate system. Okay, in our case, we're going to use the web Mercator, because that gives you In South Africa's case, that gives you in meters and not in degrees. Then I'm going to select all my bands. I want all these bands. I want all these bands selected. Okay, so that's the entire bands from 1 to 12. And you simply just click download. Now, this is going to take a bit of time. Okay, so if you have nothing on, go make coffee, walk around the house, play with the dog or the cat or whatever. Stay chilled. It will take a couple of minutes because it's quite a big image. So let's chill and relax. Okay, so while this is going on, okay, so this is option 1. Okay, so this is option 1. Okay. Obviously, there's other options available as well. Okay. Now, the trusted old Google Earth engine is option number 2. Okay, so before we go to that, let me just quickly go back while it's trying to generate itself to go and download, and it will give us notice that we can download it now. Okay, obviously what we're gonna do then is once we've downloaded, we're gonna open it in QGIS, and this is basically what it looks like in QGIS. Okay. There's all my bands. If I just make this a bit bigger, there's all my bands that I have downloaded. You'll see there's band 1 to band 12. So all the bands are downloaded. And it's downloaded for, you can see it clips it for my region of interest. Okay, so it doesn't download for that whole entire image. It automatically, when it downloads, it clips to my region of interest. And that looks like this. That is band 01. Okay, now within QGIS, I'm going to clip it. Okay, so I clip it within QGIS. And you can see there's my region of interest. Okay, so it covers my region of interest. So within QGIS, I clip the original image as derived from the Sentinel Hub. I clip it within QGIS, and then it looks something like that. Let's quickly just take it off. Okay, then it looks like this. Okay, so that's Sentinel band 1. That's the original Sentinel band 1. And all I've done is I've clipped it using my region of interest. And I clip it and it becomes like this. Okay, so they're exactly the same thing. You see, if I open it here, you'll see, okay, it's a bit bigger now because you'll see it's 18,900 and 20,000. It's obviously a bit bigger because it covers out areas outside, but it's plus minus the same thing. So this one here is exactly the same as the original one, just clipped. Okay, so that tells you what we're going to do. Once we've downloaded, it's still trying to download. Okay, once we've downloaded it, we're going to then save it into our project folder. Once we saved it into our project folder, it's still trying to, so it does take a bit of time. Okay, so you're going to save it. I've saved it to my project folder. It will save it in as a zip file. Okay, then you just, then you basically just unzip it. And once you unzip it, and this is where it lies, you'll see there it sits all in my folder. Okay, so there's all 12 bands. Okay, band, where's 1? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8A, and then there's no 10, 11, and 12. If I go here, you'll see there's the bands 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's no 10, there's 8A, 9, 11, and 12. There's all 12 bands. So it downloads and you unzip it. I have unzipped it into my folder, my project folder. And then for my project folder, I basically open my QGIS. Okay, let's make it bigger. I open my QGIS, and within QGIS, I go, once I have my new project, remember, new project, and you save it with the name. Okay, then I go basically layer and add layer, and within add layer I go to add raster layer, and within this tab here, this option here, source, I then go to my folder, and then I basically just select all my bands. There I've selected it. You go open, and there it sits, and you go add this bottom here and close. I'm not going to add it because it's already there. Okay, so I bring those bands, all of them. I bring them into my QGIS. And then, as I said, in QGIS, I basically clip them using my region of interest, and I get the clipped bands. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at them, these bands. Okay, while we wait. And I'm going to do the Earth Engine option in the second video. Okay, so this particular video tutorial only focus on using or generating images through the browser, through the Sentinel Hub browser. There's the web address and etc. etc. Okay, so you'll see there is band 1. Okay, let's quickly just make it, yeah, so that's fine enough. That's band 1. Okay, now what is band 1? Okay, we want to know what is band 1 measure. So to know that, I will go into my trusted Google Earth Engine. From Google Earth Engine, I'll go to data sets. Okay, so I go to data sets. Okay, so Google Earth Engine, data sets. Go to data sets. I go to Sentinel. Okay. From Sentinel, I go to Sentinel 2 because that's what we're working. You'll see that date Sentinel 2, 2015. I go to Sentinel 2. And then we're working with Sentinel 2A, which is the surface reflectance. So I press on that. Oops. So you see, there it comes now. It's now ready to download. Okay, so I'm going to download it in my project folder. So I'm just saying save. And I said it will save as a zip file. You'll see it's quite a lot. It's quite heavy. Huh? It's quite big. 96. We'll open it in the second video, in the following up one. And then we go to click on the surface reflectance, this option there, and then it will give us a band. What is band 1? Band 1 is aerosols. Okay, the scale is 0.001. Okay, so we actually have to put in a scaling factor in our codes. Okay, but anyway, our pixel size is 60. That's a pixel resolution, 60. So that's quite low. Okay, quite a low resolution. That's the wavelength, and it's aerosols. Okay, so if I go now to B, a band 2, you can see the difference there. You can see there's some difference. Go to band 2. What is band 2? Let's go into band 2 is our natural colors, which is blue, and that has a scale factor, and it's at 10 meters. Okay, it's at 10 meters. That's the wavelength, and it's for blue. B3 is green. So if we make this blue, let's quickly go there. If we go there, we go properties, and we say let's make that the blues. Okay, give it the blues. Okay, and classify, and we say apply, and there's the blues. Okay, so now you can see areas that is dark blue, okay, like that particular area, absorbed very little blue. It reflected a lot of blue. So what area is that? Okay, so what we need to do is to bring in a image. So I'm going to bring a Google satellite image in. We're going to close it quickly. I'm going to, where's my Google satellite? There. Okay, so this image, this particular area here. Now, there is some issues that we have to take into account because there could be time delays. Remember, I spoke about that in the previous video tutorial. Nonetheless, let's have a look. And you can see that's that piece of what it looks like, almost like a floodplain type thing, like a river with a floodplain with lots of sand. So that obviously reflected a lot of blue. And you'll see these darker areas where there's lots of natural vegetation. Captures a lot of, absorbs a lot of blue, and reflects very little blue. And you can see these sandy areas here. You can see absorbs very little blue and reflects a lot of blue. You can see these areas here, which is sandy, very sandy areas. You can um, look at what's that specific. That's also okay. Let's have a look and see. Yeah, that's also very sandy areas. So areas that have very white, very sandy areas um, absorb very little blue, reflects a lot of blue. Anyway, we'll get to that a little bit more. But anyway, so that gives you an indication. That gives you an indication of the first method to download Sentinel images. It works through the Sentinel Hub. Okay, I hope this makes sense and that you find it informative and interesting, and go play around with it. It's one way to download Sentinel images or to visualize it, download it, and as I said, it gives you a great platform then to continue with working on the Sentinel images in your GIS program such as QGIS. As I said, this is option one that you can work. It gives you a specific image. Okay, it doesn't give you a mean or median image. It gives you a particular image. Okay, so yeah, thanks for joining me. I hope this makes sense. I hope you enjoyed it. Go and play around, and I'll see you in the next video tutorial where we're going to continue with our exploration of the Sentinel images. Thanks for joining me. Remember to like, subscribe. Please subscribe, press those buttons, and I'll see you on the other side.